Good morning, everyone. So let me start today's class with the conventional conductors and types of supporting structures used for transmission and distribution of electrical power. Okay. So in this duration of lecture, okay, so we are going to cover the first one, which is the types of supporting towers. Second one, we are going to discuss more about the conventional conductors, okay, so which we generally call it as conductors there, okay. Next, we are going to highlight more on the high temperature conductors, okay. So these are the three concepts what we are going to discuss, and the last problem is already been solved by Janavi. It would be better that you can go through it and you can attempt a similar problem by changing the data, by changing the tension, by changing the span length. Okay, so all those things can be made easily. Fine. So without any further delay, let me start this class. Okay. So let me share my screen now. Okay, so what I have here is the title slide. So you are going to have the introduction to power systems. We had already studied it and overhead the transmission lines. Okay, so now the first topic what we are going to discuss is what we generally call it as the line support. Okay, so once I have the transmission line towers, okay, so I have the conductors. The conductors needs to be transmitted. I mean, transmits power from one point to the other point. So generally, it is a circular conductor. Okay, so once I have the conductors being laid from the transmission line towers. So you have many transmission line towers. So from one point to another point like this. So you will be having the connections. Okay. So you will be having the line supports. Okay. So what do you mean by a line support? Okay. So which supports the transmission line conductors for the easy flow of electrical power. Okay, so we have two types there. So one is we call it as electrical pole. Okay, next we call it as electrical tower. Okay, now once when I say it is a electric pole, where do we need to use the term electric pole, and where do you need to use that term electric tower? Okay, so I totally agree that both the supporting structures are used for the overhead transmission lines, or generally we call it as conductors or wires. So such type of structures is generally called as the line supports, correct. But when do we use electrical pole and when do you use electrical tower? So very important concept here, because if you don't know which term to use where and what is the usage in writing the relevant terms or something like that. Okay, so it would be better that you can highlight which term is used where. Okay, so first is the electrical pole. A pole is used as a supporting structure for small voltage, not more than 115 kilovolt transmission lines. Okay, so you can make use of the term electrical pole, and what is the voltage level depending on the voltage level that is there, which is 115 kilovolt. Okay, now 115 kilovolt transmission lines. So such type of a structure is called as the electrical pole there. Okay, understand it quite carefully, because this is the one. Okay, this is the one which is quite important. So as a perspective, as an engineer, you should know when do you need to use the term electric pole, when do you need to use the term electric tower. Okay, so all those concepts have to be kept in mind while you are doing it. Okay, so failing to do so, it would be quite difficult later on. Okay, so see to it that you are going to understand each and every concept what we are dealing here. Okay, so that's the reason why we call it as electric pole. So what you see in your nearby places, okay, or nearby areas, once you have the voltage greater than 115 or generally 132 kilovolt, okay, So you can have such type of structures, okay, to be called as the electrical pole there. Okay, so that is where you will be finding the term electric pole. Next, what you understand by electrical tower? Okay, the electrical tower is defined as the tower or the transmission tower, which is used for carrying high voltage above 230 kilovolt transmission lines. Okay, so we call that as the 230 kilovolt, which is generally used for carrying the high voltage. HV generally refers to high voltage lines. The electric tower is defined as the tower which is used for carrying the high voltage, which is about 230 kilovolt transmission lines. Okay, so that is how you can generally say it is a electrical tower there. Okay, so hope you got to know what do you mean by electrical pole and what do you mean by electrical tower there. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. So you can identify here what you see here is the electrical line wires, or generally we call it as conductors, and here we have transmission line towers. Okay, so a simple example where you can see electrical pole lines. Okay, so when we call it as electrical pole lines, so generally you will be having it installed nearby at your places, okay, nearby your areas or something like that, where the voltage will be quite less. Okay, so that is where you are going to use the electrical pole and electrical tower. What you see while you're traveling, so you can see electrical transmission towers. Okay, so you will be having the electrical transmission towers over long distances, right? So that is what do you mean by the electrical pole and electrical towers there. Okay, so
Yeah,
next one we, yeah,
but many are waiting in the lobby.
okay, 1 minute, 1 minute. I hope everyone is added now. Okay, now I think the screen is visible. Is the screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now once when I want to talk about these type of poles, okay, in electric pole, you have further division, which is generally called as the wooden poles, okay, and next we have concrete poles, okay. So wooden poles, why we generally go for wooden poles? So we will be going for wooden poles just because it is the cheapest type of the line support, and it is used for the span length where it is short and the tension in the conductor is low. Okay, so you would have seen in most of the olden days, so wooden poles was one typical structure what you would have seen in the electric poles. So that is where you will be finding out wooden poles here. Okay, so based on the construction, okay, so where we generally use for lower purpose or cheapest type or certainly the low voltage ranges, so we'll be going for the wooden poles. Okay, so with this wooden poles, okay, so in case if there was any increase or any short circuit would have occurred, okay, so the overall system would collapse. So that led to the development of concrete poles. Okay, so concrete poles gave a greater strength and used in the place of wooden pole. Okay, so why? This is the having a shorter lifespan. Okay, this one is having a longer lifespan. Okay, so degradation. Okay, what do you generally mean by degradation? What do you generally mean by degradation? Okay, anyone in the meeting can tell me what do you generally mean by degradation?
So it has certain drawbacks.
Yeah, degrade. The oil, what do you generally use in your vehicle. Okay, so oil is said to be degraded. Okay, degraded oil. Okay, so you have certain grade of oil, say 40 oil, 50 oil. Okay, so it is said to be degraded once you use it for certain time. Okay, so what it happens is it has lesser value of the performance, or it might have some unwanted material. So you would have been generally using it. Okay, so it may undergo the degradation. So once you say degrade, so it is having certain value, and as time proceeds, you will be having the value to be decreased. Okay, so that is what do you mean by degradation. Okay, so you can see here, this is the reinforced concrete block, what you can see. Okay, so this one. Okay, so you would have generally seen a less number of wooden poles, but you would have seen the concrete poles generally all the time. Okay, so at your places right now, uh, generally the or like KPTCL people or SISCOM people, you would have seen the uh, concrete poles which are generally being used there. Okay, so that is where we will be using concrete poles instead of wooden poles. Okay. Yes, next. Moving on to the next one. This is the self-supporting towers. Okay. Next, we have the guide or the stayed towers. Okay. So it is just a representation where we are going to use self-supporting towers. So again, it is divided into narrow base and wide based. Okay. So it is more or less this one. It is the wide base. Okay. This one is more or less like a narrow based. Okay, so that is where you will be having the cross linked. So what you see here, so this will be the incoming line, and somewhere here you will be having the outgoing line. Okay, so here you will be having three incoming lines, and you'll be having three outgoing lines there, so similar to that. Okay, so that's where you are going to use the self-supporting towers, where it is divided into two categories. So first one is the wide base. Okay, and next one is the narrow base towers which are there. So self-supporting towers which are divided into two categories. All right, so next we have guide or the state towers. Okay, so such type of towers are either portal type or V type. Okay, so portal type or V type, whatever you see there. So here you will be having the type of the supporting structure. So here you will not see much of it. Okay, so you'll be seeing the self supporting towers all the time. Okay, so rather than the V type or the guide type towers there. Okay, so we will be using the self supporting towers all the way. Okay, yes, coming to the conductors. Okay, so we have a few types of conductors to be discussed. Okay, so the first common or generally used everywhere, we call it as ACSR. What do you mean by ACSR? The name itself, it is quite clear. What do you generally mean by ACSR? Yes, anyone can answer. Anyone can answer. Anyone can
Mm,
answer. Anyone can answer. Yes, anyone. What do you mean by ACSR? I told you to go through the PPT once and come and attend the class. No. Anyone? Anjali? Anjali? Rakshita? Yeah, what do you mean by ACSR? Manoj? Manoj?
Sir,
Supri? Uh, what do you mean by ACSR? Yes, you can talk. Manoj, Shivu, Shivu HM.
Sir,
What do you mean by
aluminum conduct
ACSR?
aluminum conductor
Hmm.
reinforced.
Steel? Hmm? What do you mean by that?
It is packed with steel
Yeah.
wire. Inside it would be an aluminum conductor.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So, is it visible now? Is it visible? The slides?
It's visible.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So, as the name suggests, it is ACSR, which is aluminum steel reinforced. Okay, reinforced conductor, which is ACSR. Generally, I think I'm getting few more requests. Okay, so the core, what you see here. So once you have any conductor, the conductor is said to be generally uh, circular in nature like this. Okay, so once you have many conductors packed like this, so I'm drawing a cross sectional area here. So this is the cross sectional area what we have. Okay, so you will be having many such conductors like this packed. Okay, many such conductors packed like this. So now if you see all these conductors which are packed together, and you will be having the central conductor, which is generally steel reinforcement. Okay, so we have we have the central conductor to be aluminum. Okay, what you see here. Okay, so you have aluminum strands and you will be having the steel strands there. Okay, so steel is being reinforced. Okay, so steel is being reinforced and you will be having the aluminum conductor. So what I'm giving you an idea is, so how the conductors are being generally present. Okay, so once you use it for a transmission line tower. Okay, transmission line towers, whatever that you use. So you will be having the core of the material, which is generally a single wire or the stranded wire. Okay, so why we generally go for a stranded wire means, okay, so we'll be having a better mechanical strength. Okay, so stranding of wires. So that's the reason why we will be having the stranding of conductors depending on the size there. Okay, so next we will be having the steel wire core, which is available in class A, B, or class C galvanization for the corrosion protection. Okay, so next additional corrosion protection is available through the application of a grease to the core. Okay, so what do you generally mean by corrosion? Anyone? Anyone? A simple way, how you can define corrosion?
Rusting.
Corrosion. Rust is different. Corrosion is different. Okay, just think about it and do let me know in the next class. Okay. Okay, so why we need to generally go for the corroded protection? So why we need to go for the galvanization? So just because it is a one-time installment, more or less, like needs to have less maintenance. Okay, so in case if you want to have a less maintenance, you need to go for the higher values of uh, the conductors which are present. Okay, so additionally you will be having the additional corrosion protection which is available through the application of grease. Okay, to the core, application of grease to the core, or infusion of the complete cable with grease. Okay, so you'll be having the cable completely filled with grease. Okay, so that is the grease to the application of grease to the core, or infusion of complete cable with the grease there. Okay, so what you see here is the aluminum conductor steel reinforced. What you see here. Okay, So you will be having the aluminum strands and steel strands there. Okay, so aluminum strands are being present, and next one is the steel strands. Okay, so hope you got to know what do you mean by ACSR conductors. Okay, any doubts up to this point, whatever the concept that I have taught right now with respect to ACSR? Feel free to share your doubts if you have any. Okay, now what are the features of ACSR? First one is the high tensile strength. Okay, better sag properties, economic design, suitable for remote applications involving long spans. Next, good thermal characteristics. Okay, so when I say tensile strength, so any conductor should have high tensile strength. Okay, next, sag properties. How do you define sag? How do you define sag? Anyone? How do you define sag?
It is the
See, unless
distance
I,
from
hmm,
it is the distance from the point of support to the lowest point of the conductor.
very good. Okay. Now, so you need to have better sag properties. What do you generally mean by it is the sag of the conductor should be minimum there. Okay. So what do you see? So you'll be having the conductors like this. Okay. So you need to have a conductor where you need to have minimum sag property that is being presented. Okay. So that is what you mean by better sag properties. Next one, we have economic design. Next, we have suitable for remote applications involving long spans. Okay, so what do you mean by span? The distance between two towers is called as the span length or span. Okay, so the distance between two towers is generally called as span. All right, so suitable for remote applications involving long span. Okay, last one, good thermal characteristics. Okay, so last one is good thermal characteristics. Okay. So next one we have the typical AAC. What do you mean by AAC? All aluminum conductor there. Okay. So all aluminum conductor. So one or more strands of hard drawn 1350 aluminum alloy is used in this case. So which is hard drawn 1350 aluminum alloy. Okay, so what you see here, you'll be having the aluminum alloy conductors. Okay, so all the conductors are here, but it is hard drawn. Okay, so whatever the strandings that are being provided. Okay, so we are making use of all aluminum alloy conductors for its functioning. Okay, so you will be having a hard drawn uh, 1350 aluminum alloy as a material for constructing the transmission line towers, transmission line conductors. Okay, so you'll be having the limited use in the transmission lines. Okay, so next you'll be having the good corrosion resistance, moderate strength. Okay, high current carrying capacity, and excellent resistance to the corrosion. Okay, next you'll be having the ideal for use in the coastal areas. So why we generally go for the coastal areas is, so you'll be having the corrosion to be having an increase or corroded properties will be more once you see in the corrosion coastal areas when you compare it with the other areas like cities or something like that. Okay, so you will be having the usage in the coastal areas where it is like frequently it is subjected to corrosion in case of coastal areas, and that is the reason why you will be having it extensively used in coastal areas. Now we generally use ACSR conductors only. Okay, so we do not use the AAC. Okay, so we'll be using the ACSR conductors. Okay, next, suitable for the low voltage and medium voltage lines in the urban area. Okay, so low voltage and medium voltage lines lines generally they are used in such case, like these conductors are being used. Okay, so this is a typical all aluminum alloy conductor. Okay, AAC conductor. Okay, so you will be seeing such all aluminum conductor which are being present. Okay, so what you see here, these are the standard conductors, whatever you see there. Okay, so this is the cross sectional view of it. Okay, so what you see here, okay, central conductor, and generally what you see in such cases, you'll be having the diameter of the conductor which is 2n plus 1. Okay, 2n plus 1 into d. Okay, so you would have understood what is d. Okay, so you should know what is d. This is d. Okay, so diameter of the each strand is generally called as the small d, whatever that is there. So that would be 2n plus 1 into d there. Okay, so that is what you see there in case of all aluminum alloy conductor. Okay, now so this is triple AC, all aluminum alloy conductor. That was aluminum alloy conductor, and this is all aluminum alloy conductor there. Okay, so there is no such major difference unless you'll be having the strength of it, lighter weight. Okay, current carrying capacity, lower electrical losses, corrosion resistance. Okay, so these are generally being used in case of the transmission and distribution lines where it is generally widely accepted. Okay, so most of the times we'll be using the ACSR conductors only. So ACSR conductors is one thing which is quite commonly used once we have this. Okay, so we use ACSR conductors only. Okay, yes. So let's have a quick recap. I'll not share the slides now. Yes, tell me a few properties of ACSR conductors. I might choose anyone now. Mahadev Prasad. Mahadev Prasad. Ashmit Ram. Ashmit Ram, can you tell me few properties of ACSR conductors? Ashmit Ram, can you tell me few properties of ACSR conductors?
Sir, high tensile strength,
Okay.
better sag properties,
Okay. What do you mean by better sag properties? What do you mean by it? Okay. Anyone? Siddhing Swami, Suprita D. Babu, Swati Hebbar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me few properties of ACSR.
Sir, it is economical.
Okay. Next.
Sir, it can sustain better thermal.
Okay. Okay. Moving on to the next one. We have all aluminum alloy conductor, so which has higher strength to weight ratio and better sag characteristics. Okay, so next we have moderate conductivity, higher tensile strength and lower electrical losses. Okay, so how will you compute the electrical losses in a conductor? I squared R. Okay, I squared R. Generally, the current is taken. Okay, so I squared R will be the electrical losses that are being present there. Okay. So next we have this one, thermal resistant aluminum alloy conductor, which we call it as ATI conductor. Okay, so the construction is quite similar to that of a ACSR conductor. So the change is that the grade of the aluminum wires that are being used, it is a hard drawn type. Hard drawn aluminum wires are being used in case of aluminum alloy, known as TAL. Okay, so these wires are doped with zirconium, which makes resistance aluminum alloy conductors, and these conductors are well suited for high temperatures. Okay, so in this concept, what we are going to study is what happens when the voltage keeps on increasing, the value of the current keeps on increasing. Correct. But if there is a increase in the value of current, the temperature level also keeps on increasing, because I squared R into T is the value of the heat that is being generated. Okay, so that is where you will be having the increase in the value of the uh, heat levels, that is the heat energy that is being generated. All right, so due to the value of the heat that is to be generated, so there will be having an increase in the value of the temperature. Okay, so with the increase in the value of the temperature, so what happens, the temperature of the conductor will generally get deteriorated. Okay, so overall conductor may get deteriorated, and you will be having the uh, overall temperature will be certainly increasing there. Okay, so the change is that you'll be having the grading of the wires. So improving the grading of the wires is one important concept here. Okay, so that is generally known as the aluminum alloy, or known as TAL. Okay, so what are the features that are there, the various features of the thermal resistant aluminum alloy conductor? So it has high current carrying capacity. Next, good mechanical and electrical properties at elevated temperatures. Next, you have very stable and high temperatures and cost effective design. Next, it is suited for raising the existing line capacity. Okay, so all these things are being generally present there in the properties of the thermal resistant aluminum alloy conductors. Okay, so second one, good mechanical and electrical properties. Third one, we have very stable at high temperatures and cost effective design. So fourth one, we have suited for raising the existing line capacity. Okay, so all of these nothing but the various features of the ATI. Okay, so next we have super thermal resistant aluminum alloy conductor. Okay, so we have ZTAI. Okay, next we have ZTAI. Okay, so what it is present here, so we had TAI. What was TAI? Thermal resistant aluminum alloy conductors. So if we have ZTAI, so it is nothing but a super thermal alloy which has been manufactured from the aluminum zirconium alloys. So that is the aluminum zirconium alloy rods are being present there. The outer layers are made up of super thermal resistant aluminum alloy wires. Okay, so what you see, it is more or less the construction. So we are only changing the constructional aspects here. That's because of the outer layers where it is being subjected to the surface. Okay, so what happens when you keep on increasing the temperature value due to the excess value of current, so you will be having the temperature levels also goes on increasing. Okay, so these are nothing but the concentrically arranged uh, per core of the aluminum clad. Okay, so we call it as invar, so which we have 36% of nickel that is present there in the steel. Okay, so we call inverse steel. Okay, so where you will be having the 36% of the nickel there. Okay, so next we have the current capacity of this conductor is twice that of the light aluminum conductor there. So next one, we have load capacity of the system, which can be increased simply by replacing the existing conductors by ACSR conductors without changing the steel towers. Okay, so all these concepts, what you need to keep in mind is, so we need to have the increase in the value of the current capacity. So what happens when you have increase in the current capacity? So you will be having the conductor to have the higher value of the current carrying capacity when you compare it with the light aluminum conductor. Okay, so next you will be having the same conductor to have a cost effectiveness, and it should be stable at high temperature. Okay, so it has a unique construction having a small gap. Okay, so it's having a unique construction having a small gap between the steel core and the super thermal aluminum alloy. So you will be having the central core material which is made up of extra high strength steel core. Okay, next you will be having the conductor partly arranged around the core which is made up of thermal resistant aluminum alloy. So a gap is being provided in the inner core just to have this filling of grease just to avoid the friction. So you might come to know why do we need to have some small gap being present there. Okay, so to have a better current carrying capacity. Okay, so to avoid the friction, so we'll be going for the grease. Okay, so to use it as the function. Okay, so we'll be going for grease there. Okay, so next we have gap type thermal resistant aluminum alloy conductor. So which is GTA CSR. Okay, so GTA CSR GT, which is gap type. This is ACSR, which is present there. So generally we don't have a gap type aluminum conductor steel reinforced. We call it as gap type thermal resistant aluminum alloy conductor. Okay, so this inner layer of the aluminum alloy is trapezoidal in shape to maintain the gap, offers excellent sag and current carrying characteristics. It can carry 1.6 times the higher value of the current than the ACSR conductor of the same size. Next, we will be having the cost, which is low, and construction period is short. Next, we have existing conductors, and it can be simply replaced by GT ACSR conductors without changing the towers. Okay, so this construction allows the low sag properties and good mechanical strength there. Okay, so all these are nothing but the properties what I have listed out. Okay, so again you will see the temperature which is at 210 degree centigrade. The construction is quite similar, and the aluminum conductors, those are nothing but the outer aluminum conductors which are made up of heat resistant zirconium aluminum alloy. So this makes the conductor well suited with the continuous operation at elevated temperature up to 210 degrees centigrade without affecting its mechanical and electrical properties. So thus this conductor provides very stable operation at high temperatures. So next we have GZTA CSR. Okay. So we have gap type super thermal resistance aluminum alloy conductor steel reinforced. Okay, so we'll be having the 2 times higher current than the ACSR conductors. Next, we'll be having a suitable operation at high temperature, low sag at high temperature. Okay, so we'll be having the very good mechanical properties, low thermal knee point. Okay, so we'll be having economical increase. Okay, so all these things have to be kept in mind when it comes to GZTACSR. Okay, so whatever the concepts that I've listed out here, it is nothing but the properties, the constructional aspects, and why we need to go for that conductor only at that particular area. Okay, so all these things have to be kept in mind while you're doing it. So if you have any queries, we can discuss. If you have any queries, we can generally discuss now. If you have any queries, I'll stop sharing. Yes. If you have any queries, we can discuss. Okay. So we will stop right here.